Hello, 8th graders. Today is Tuesday, May the 4th, and these are going to be your notes about sexual reproduction. As stated earlier in our discussion about reproduction, this is not your health class. This is how reproduction works scientifically, and this is basically asexual reproduction will basically be a discussion that is the opposite of asexual reproduction. So you need to title your notes with the following title. We are talking about sexual reproduction today. At any time you need to pause this video to copy the notes, please do so. There will be a worksheet that goes with this, so you will want to take these on paper so you can refer to this as you will be able to do the worksheet better with these if they're on paper. Okay, so let's get started. So our topic for today is sexual reproduction. And we just talked about asexual reproduction. And I want to discuss asexual reproduction just to start briefly. So there is a problem with asexual reproduction. And we're going to write that down. The problem with asexual reproduction is that everything's the same. There's no variety. Everything's identical. When an amoeba reproduces, it reproduces the exact same amoeba. Okay? So that's the problem. Problem with asexual reproduction is that everything, actually let's write every offspring, because we know offspring is a scientific word for child, is identical to the parent, okay, period. And I want you to write this out with a giant star. There is no variety. Everything is exactly the same. There's no variety, so if the parent has some kind of disease, then the child's going to have some kind of disease. If an amoeba had eyes, if the mom had blue eyes, then of course the child will have blue eyes because it's split. It goes through binary fission and it splits, and bam, that's all there is. It's just an identical organism from the parent. So that's the problem with asexual reproduction. So that leads us to our discussion on sexual reproduction. As you can see on my iPad, I don't have much more space, so I will flip the page. If you need to pause so you can copy this down. I'm going to flip the page and we're going to start talking about our definition for sexual reproduction. So, sexual reproduction as a definition, I'm going to underline it, as a definition is the process that produces offspring, which are children or a child, that are different from either parent. And remember, in sexual reproduction, you have to have two parents, basically a mom and a dad. Either parent. And of course, I misspelled either, needs an R on the end. So there's some characteristics about sexual reproduction that we will write down as well with this definition. So when you have an organism that reproduces in this way, they have a combination of DNA, combination of that's supposed to be DNA. Okay, they have half of their moms, half of their dads. Let's write that down as well. Half of both parent. Let's see here. And what that does is it will actually give their offspring, come on, Mr. Bullet Point, the offspring, actually offsprings have different traits. Let's see here. What else are some characteristics of sexual reproduction? They have different traits. So that means, if your mom has blue eyes, your dad has brown eyes, depending on, what genes you end up with, you could have either or, brown or blue. Let's say if your mom has straight hair and your dad has curly hair, it'll be, you'll have a 50-50 chance of having curly hair or straight hair. With my kids, my husband has curly hair, I have straight-ish hair, and my kids came out with curly hair. So they could have come out with my straight-ish hair or curly hair, and they have curly hair. So let's see here, for instance. Okay, let's talk about for a minute. That's all the bullet points I want to write about sexual reproduction. I want to introduce a new word to you, and that is going to be the word gametes. And gametes they're actually things that you already know. But let's go ahead and write that down as a definition. A gamete. So a gamete, as a definition, are very simply the reproductive cells They're the reproductive cells in an organism that reproduces sexually. So we've talked about this before. In human males, or in animals that are males, that is the sperm cell. And in females, that is the egg cell. Scientifically, 8th graders, the sperm and the egg, since they are reproductive cells, are called gametes. Okay? So there's a new vocabulary word for you guys. So in total, through this presentation, you should have paused to write all these things down. You should have the problem with asexual reproduction, a definition for sexual reproduction with 2 bullet points, and the definition for gametes. And this ends this video. There is a worksheet that goes along with this, so make sure you use your notes that are on paper to complete the worksheet, and also make sure you've showed me your notes because they are a grade. Thanks, guys. See you later.